Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Professional's Pulse. I'm Farida Musaddi, the co founder and CEO of Alphateh Technologies, Dubai. Well, as you all know, Alphateh Technologies is a tech consultancy, and we specialize in delivering cutting edge technology solutions tailored to meet the unique needs of clients worldwide. As a forward thinking company at the heart of technological innovations, we understand the critical importance of staying connected in today's digital world. Our expertise not only lies in providing advanced tech solutions, but also in building robust connections with clients and partners across the globe. We also ensure seamless collaboration, innovation, growth in an increasingly interconnected world. Whether it's through digital transformation, data analytics, or customized tech strategies, we are committed to empowering businesses to thrive in a constantly evolving digital landscape. And today, we are going to talk about something really interesting. Well, in this fast paced digital era, the way we build and maintain relationships has, of course, drastically transformed. With the advent of social media, virtual networking platforms, and digital communication tools, the dynamics of forming meaningful connections have shifted from the traditional face to face interactions to online engagements. In this episode, we will explore the nuances of relationship building in this digital world, where authenticity, trust, and meaningful connections are more important than ever. Join us today as we delve into strategies for fostering strong professional and personal relationships in an age where technology often stands at the forefront. And joining us today on this episode is Neha.
Hi,
Hi, Neha.
Farida.
How are you? And
Very
thank you
well.
for being here today with us, and welcome to the Professionals Pulse.
Thank you so much for having me here today, Farida. And it's a great opportunity and a great discussion topic which we're going to take forward
Absolutely.
today.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to some interesting conversations. Thank you for having me
Same here.
here on the live.
Same here. So, for everyone, Neha has an MBA from London and a post graduation in public relations from Delhi, also a degree in international business, with extensive experience in working in London and now serving as vice president at Kotak Mahindra Bank in the banking sector. Neha excels in managing diplomatic missions and foreign institutional relationships. A master of relationship management, she also brings a deep spiritual inclination to her personal and professional life. Once again, Neha, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Farida, for having a deep introduction. Yes, the qualifications are concerned. Yes, it has been a great experience doing double masters. And to be honest, what we read in the books, it only comes handy to a certain extent, but actually, your experience teaches you more than
Totally
your
agree.
books can ever do. Yeah.
Totally agree.
So, I have been working with the bank for almost 3 years. I have area of experience with the banking industry and in different divisions. I started my career with the banking industry. So
Okay.
yes,
So, Neha, to begin with, how has digital communication transformed relationship building in the professional settings today?
well, to be honest with you, given the fact that I have been, so in any banking in the banking industry or any front-facing industry wherein you have a direct connect with the clients,
Yes.
email has played a pivot role to get in touch with the customers. So, but nowadays, what is happening is even though you send an email, people don't really bother and get interested in replying you back also.
True.
So you have to broaden your horizon. Given now the AI is there, and you have so many things. Since you are from the technology
Yes.
industry, you know how it works. So personally, like I use different tools to get in touch with it. So given the LinkedIn is there, then you have social media, you have Facebook is there, you have other. Uh, so if you're only talking about the professional world, LinkedIn has played a very important role to get us
Agreed.
through people,
Connect to people. Yes,
connect
absolutely.
to people. Yes. So they on LinkedIn you have entire your connection, what kind of people you're connected with. It also shows what have you done in the past, where you are currently working, and what can
True.
you bring on the table. So it gives other person confidence
Correct.
to really trust you and to understand more about you, to
Correct.
establish that initial relationship before they actually speak to you.
Correct. But do you think that I would use the word cold calling? Because so earlier, cold calling was in the form of picking up the call and, calling customers. Then it evolved to, as you mentioned, emails. And now people use social media for cold calling. Do you think cold calling is effective?
To be honest, as I said, if we refer to picking up the call and calling, so in my division, like if you pick up the call and call up the embassy, they will not entertain you. To be honest with you.
Absolutely. Yes.
So as you rightly said, that is cold calling has always been very effective. It has always been for the sales part of it. Yes, it is very important, but
Correct.
depend what kind of clientele you're dealing with, what kind of people you is your target audience.
True.
So if we are referring to the kind of people I deal with, or because my LinkedIn is full of diplomats and the diplomatic fraternity,
True. True.
I think in my domain or in my work area, even though the social media calling, so it's like you drop a text to the targeted audience, and then you await their reply. There
True.
are very less chances that they do not reply because they see your credibility beforehand
Correct.
on
Correct.
LinkedIn. They see what kind of people you're connected with, what kind of work are you doing. So at least the initial conversation can be a startup using the
Okay.
social media.
Okay.
As far as calling and emails are concerned, emails is still very important. I think I also do a lot of emails to reach out to my clients.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, I think as you correctly mentioned, LinkedIn has played a very important role in
Yeah,
establishing strong professional relationships because the moment you receive a message or an email from someone, the first thing that you go and check the person's profile, what kind of work experience they have, what
yeah,
kind of connections
yeah,
they have, and that, builds your trust in that person itself.
correct.
Absolutely. And so what are the key elements according to you in, building trust in this digital professional environment? We mentioned connections, we mentioned the work profile, but still, sometimes things are misleading. So according to you, how can you get that trust of your client or your customer in a digital connection?
See, as far as the elements are concerned, Farida, so there are two parts to it. The first part is um, we we are referring to in-person thing. The second part is the digital bit. Then we take the references. References are also very important part of it. if
True.
if so, for example, if I know ex diplomat, if he refers me to another diplomat, he will quickly go to my profile and see it. So
Absolutely.
references work they come very handy, as you rightly said. The second thing which you mentioned is your credibility on LinkedIn. Like, how many people do you know? What kind of work are you doing? But you can fake to certain extent. but when you have substantial amount of people on your LinkedIn, when you have substantial number and the qualified people on your LinkedIn, it definitely gives you an edge and makes it more stronger. I'm only picking LinkedIn because it's a professional tool. I'm not
True.
reaching out to Instagram or Facebook. I'm not going that side, but LinkedIn per se because I use a lot of LinkedIn. Um,
Absolutely.
so it does make a difference. These are the reference points. But at the end of the day, it comes down to humans, right? What kind of energy you emit, what kind of trust can you bring on the table? The initial starting conversation can be through the LinkedIn or any other social media or emails or any other thing. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the human connect,
Absolutely.
how you take care.
True.
So I think what you need, as for me, this is my experiences. I think you need to be very honest, even though if you're trying to reach somebody on the LinkedIn, you be honest in what kind of you don't have to be you don't have to be fancy about your words. You don't have to be. I think people prefer honesty.
True.
If you're honest about the fact what you're seeking in the first email itself, it
Yes.
actually cut the chase because the other person who is sitting on the other side is quite well versed how this works.
True.
So it's very important to cut the chase and bring what is required. If both are in sync and in harmony, then probably the conversations can go to the next level. Or probably they'll ask you to drop an email, or probably they'll ask you to come and meet them. So that is how it generally works.
Correct.
If you'll keep chasing them, keep sending them on their emails, keep sending, at times you need to do that also. But to some what extent can you go with that? It's up to you
Without being very pushy.
without being pushy. Because see, it is just not about LinkedIn. It's about your own credibility also.
Yes.
That one person is connected to 10 other people in your group, in
Yeah.
your connections itself.
True.
So the so so on the face of it, what kind of profile you're having, what you're writing, what kind of messages you're sharing, what kind of likes are you it's all monitored.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What kind of knowledge sharing are you bringing on table? What is your experience? What kind of, even though it's your product which you're trying to sell,
Mm-hmm.
even though you have that, you have to be very candid about it. You have to be very open about it, and do
Correct.
not think the other person who's sitting on the other side is fool because they are not. They are pretty smart people.
Correct. That's
So
true.
that is how I see it. Yeah.
And so LinkedIn, of course, is a great platform. But how about other social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook? Do you think they're equally as effective for such kind of, serious connects with customers, with potential clients, or is it for a certain sector only?
No. So for example, in Instagram is another Gen Z thing now. Okay. So Instagram is we are on Instagram most of the times.
True.
Everybody is flipping through the Instagram. So this is how I use my Instagram. I follow certain I follow the updates on Instagram because
Mm-hmm.
every embassy, every institution have their Instagram page. I follow it, so
Correct.
it
Correct.
keeps me upbeat about what's happening,
What's
who's
happening?
coming, who's going. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it keeps you informed in a way.
Correct.
And for Facebook, like you can connect with people on Facebook. It actually boils down to your personal relationship. Once you start working with them, then you get to know you get to know you get to know about them, you get to know about their likes, dislikes, what you get to know about. So it's personal choices. You're from LinkedIn professional website, you're slowly getting down to their personal levels. And
Personal.
once you start establishing that personal bond with them, it's a different ball game altogether. Then you do not need digital sites to build your relationship.
True. True. That's true. That's true. Correct.
So
Absolutely.
these are few things which I personally use, not to exploit, but to understand my clients.
Okay. And for someone who's just started out using these social media platforms, let's say LinkedIn, for someone who's entered into the professional world, how should they build an effective network and connect with people without seeming, because they of course do not carry a strong connections profile where they can be reviewed. So most of the times, they might not be taken so seriously. So for someone who's just started, how should one go about that?
See, this is what I have learned from my experience is like I barely used LinkedIn before I started using LinkedIn for a couple of years now, three,
Okay.
4 years predominantly. When I started, I had very difficult times connecting with people. People will not accept your request. So
True.
I think what you need to do is you keep trying. I think one, don't give up. Second, there must be something in your profile which will strike somebody somewhere. You know,
Okay.
you need to have your profile decently made so that people
Mm-hmm.
understand your credibility.
Okay.
Um, Also, it matters what kind of organization you're working with. Like,
True.
what are you backed by? There are a lot of people who are looking for jobs, right, on the LinkedIn.
Yeah.
They don't have they don't have um they don't have any organization backing them up on the LinkedIn. It's
Correct.
your
Yeah.
own profile. Ideally, it is supposed to be your own profile, but
Correct.
eventually, it is not your profile only. It
True.
is it has many facets, and one of the facets is, of course, what kind of organization you're working with. Where are you coming from? So you need to be, if even though you're starting with it, you need to be very candid. As I said, you need to keep yourself true, honest to yourself. Put your profile out there. Have a strong message. You just don't connect with people. Connect. You know, you need to you need to have a strategy in place, and
True.
when you have a strategy in place, you you send them a proper text message. You tell them what are you looking for from them. And I think people who are at a senior levels, people who are mature and they've grown in their career, and they're sitting at the CEO, CFOs, or CMOs level, they are pretty understanding people. they
Absolutely.
they 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 as they say, when you grow old, when the tree gets older, वो ऐसे झुक जाता है. It just falls like that. So so people who are of that stature and that level, they appreciate you telling things honestly, um, than that of any beautified words sending you. You tell them that, sir, I'm starting with it. I'm starting my job with this, and I'm looking out for an appointment. And is it possible to seek an appointment with you sometime in the coming future? Or
Correct.
or your other ways, yeah,
Correct. Again, cultural differences, I think that again has a very important role to play,
yeah,
because everybody wants to connect with people globally. And
yeah.
sometimes what happens is you want to connect, but you don't want to put any wrong message. We don't know uh, how a person maybe from some other country would take, would they like you to be straightforward and approach them? There are different aspects to it. So again, because you have a global clientele, so according to you, how do you take care of these cultural differences, and how does that impact your relationship building?
See, I agree to what you just said. First of all, we need to understand we all are humans, Farida.
True.
So I go with my gut feeling generally. I don't put too much impetus on the fact that you need to be respectable, irrespective of what part of the world the client is from, what kind of person you're connecting them from. You need to be respectable. You need to hold on to your boundaries. You just cannot um, write anything and everything to them. You know,
Correct.
whatever you're posting on your LinkedIn profile, it has to be respectable for the community you are in. It's a community thing, right? At the end of the day, the connections is your community.
Correct.
So as you rightly said, yes, there are cultural differences. There are people from across the world who are, but at the end of the day, it's humans, right? If you're
True.
polite and if you're respectable and if you're kind, the least the other person will not accept your request,
Correct.
the
Correct.
least they'll
That's
not
yes.
they won't accept your connection request, or else probably they'll probably send you a text saying no, I'm not interested. So you
Correct.
don't take it personally. Don't take it
Absolutely.
personally. This is what I'll say. Just go with. So there are billions of people on this earth. Somebody will definitely see the light in you, and keep
Absolutely.
trying. Be respectful. Yeah, I mean this is what it takes. And then there are times when you have language barriers also. There are people
Yes.
who don't understand language barrier. But I think with the technology and everything, we have amazing tools to translate and everything. Yes, man, thing it's very important.
And any particular geography that you feel that it's more easy to connect with people from certain locations and more difficult to connect with people from certain geographies, anything that has happened, your personal experience on that?
To be honest with you, not really. Nothing to do with geographies, honestly.
Okay.
Um, I think the challenge which I face is the challenge which I face is at times that when I send a text message, when I send a message to people, they don't reply back. They probably do not. They don't want to have an appointment or a meeting. So as I said, I don't give up because of that. You
True.
know,
Yes.
at the end of the day, as I said, we all are humans. Then there are no geographies. I have people connected from across the world on my LinkedIn, and I have no
Correct.
apprehensions can sending connection requests whatsoever, because I feel that you need to be confident in yourself. I don't even think that, okay, this person is important to me and how this is going to be. So with one connection, you come across 10 other connections. In those
Yes.
10 other connections, there are 10 other connections. This is how
Correct.
it works, right? This is how LinkedIn works. And if you'll not open yourself up to the people, then it is difficult. That's your own inability, then
Correct.
I would
Correct.
say. I think
And
uh,
yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. No, I was just
No,
saying that
go ahead.
as far as the geographies are concerned, I don't think I had problems connecting. Yes, there is a possibility people are busy. They will connect with you couple of days later or couple of weeks later. But
True.
generally, people appreciate connecting. Yeah,
People who deal with product based industries and those who are in the service based industries. Again, comparing these two industries, are there any difficult areas like product based approaches are more easy to connect and with rather than service based? Because product, you have something to show, you have a product, you have reviews, everything. Service based is it's your experience, so until you don't experience that,
yeah.
it's difficult. So do you think there is a difference in these two industries also, again, in the form of digital connections?
See, Farida, to be honest with you, I hail from the industry which is banking industry, and banking and hospitality sector are the top sectors wherein the service is considered as you have to be on your toes with these industries. Okay.
Exactly,
Um,
that's
as far as a product based and a service industry is concerned, I think it's to do with, again, there are a couple of things. Is what you're backed with? What brand are you backed with? You know,
definitely
for product for product to have for somebody to sell the product to someone, there has to be a need to buy it.
true.
You need to create that need.
True.
Once that need is there, you need to understand that need of the client. Once you understand the need of the client, then you can tell them, and then you can curate the product basis their requirement or their. So as far as the banking industry is concerned or the hospitality industry is concerned, where the service is the predominant factor, We have so
Correct.
many banks in India, leading banks in India. There's
Yeah.
always a chase, always a tough competition, you know, uh, because at the end of the day, it's about money. Where the money is involved, you
True.
everybody is like on their toes.
Correct.
So
Yes.
in my experience, uh, again for product, it's a need based that you need
Yes.
to service is after you sell the product, you need to cater to the client,
True.
or service based as in what are you servicing for? There must be something that you're servicing them for, right? You're
Correct.
selling
Correct.
them something that you can then you can service, and how you keep up with your servicing, that
Yeah.
is up to you, and that
More
is
of
up to your team.
maintaining that relationship. It's not just
Again, it
sell
comes
and go.
down it comes down to your relationship building at the end of the day.
True. True. True.
Um, this is the experience, Farida. Toughest of people, toughest of people will give up if you have a strong relationship value with them.
Absolutely. Agreed.
They will, people do not have time in their calendar. They're running, they're super busy. They don't have time to even spare even a single minute.
True.
But if you have a good relationship with them, if you're showing them, if you're meeting them, if you have that bonding with them, they no matter how busy they are, they will still take out time for you. They will still listen to you. It
True.
comes down to person to person.
Absolutely. I agree on that. At the end of the day, as you correctly mentioned even before, it's about how strong you are and
Yeah,
how strongly you come across. You show them that value proposition, and that's
yeah.
how you are maintaining that relationship, not just for that time period where you want to sell your product or when you want to sell your service, but even after that. And I think that's how slowly the trust builds upon you. So tomorrow, if you have something else to offer, definitely you don't have to try and sell that hard as you had to do in the first instance.
And even though I'll say that, even though, it's at the end of the day, as we say, it's a small world. As we say, it's a small world. Somewhere or the other, people will connect. Somewhere or the other, even though they're not buying your product today, you don't have to push it too hard for them to buy your product, but at
Correct.
least maintain that respectable bond with them, so that when the need arises, they can get in touch with you.
Correct. True.
Or
True.
or because people, it's all human thing, right? At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
even though
Absolutely.
you're digitally connected, but it's still two humans who are operating those digital interfaces. Yeah.
Um, so my next question was, I was going to ask you about definitely the challenges that come in. Of course, we did talk about, the challenges of we have cultural differences, we have sometimes language barriers, people don't connect, people are busy, of course. But then, according to you, because the industry that you are catering to, you are connecting with high end officials, somebody who's at the top. And most of the times, when you are starting out new, certain apprehensions that you have, even after you connect, let's say the connection is accepted, maybe at that time there was no need for it, but then how do you maintain, how do you continue, how do you remain visible to them, because if you just connect and you leave it at there with just one message, definitely it wouldn't go. There's a very thin line between being pushy and between being relevant. Sometimes our LinkedIn is flooded with messages repeatedly, from the same people. And after a point, you don't want to be rude, you don't want to say no, but then sometimes, you feel that they are being extremely pushy. So we
Yeah.
just go away. So that thin line for someone who is starting afresh in this, how do you think, not only LinkedIn, I would say, but even other social media platforms, what kind those challenges, how can one overcome and be relevant, be visible, and at the end build those connections?
Very good point, which you mentioned, Farida. Like, we drop them a text and then we disappear. We have initial conversation. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? All well, all well. After that, we disappear. We don't get in touch. But we see the post on the LinkedIn. We keep liking their post. They keep liking our post. It's a very good point which you mentioned. See, as in my LinkedIn profile, there are 3,000 odd people in my LinkedIn profile.
True.
It is not possible for me to text everybody and keep checking on them every now and then.
Yes,
And if I'm
absolutely.
doing that, even if I'm doing that, I'll not be able to keep up with it. That is setting myself for the failure.
True.
But I would like to say that in that case, when you can't show up every time, when you can't really bond, but they are in your connection list, what you can do is so for example, if I need something from somebody who's at a higher official, you can always reach out to them saying, hi, how are you doing, and hope you're well. So I need a small request. I have a small request. So you need to be very positive, very
Correct.
respectful while writing this to them. And I think people understand, people get busy. I mean, you cannot, if you're not really texting them every now and then, it means that you're doing something valuable with your life.
True. True.
You're not only on LinkedIn sending text messages every now and then.
True. That's true.
So I think that is one thing. The other challenge which often people will come across is when people look out for a job. So
Hmm.
now everybody from your fraternity is connected. Everybody from your specific company is connected. Now you want to look out for a job, but you cannot do that because people will get to know. You have to keep it silently. You have to keep it low life. But
Correct.
but you also understand in your connections there are people out there who can really help you.
Absolutely. True.
You
True.
don't want to leave your current job, but and also look out for another job. So this is
Yes.
another challenge
Correct.
for the social media per se.
Correct.
Or either you filter your list, sit and filter your list and send them the CVs in their inboxes and request them for a look up for a job.
Yeah. Because
That is
sometimes people randomly send CVs to everybody, even though,
yeah.
that industry is nowhere connected. So we receive CVs for teachers, for receptionists. So I feel, people do not look and filter as to where they should reach out, rather than just sending
I
across.
think I think LinkedIn means everybody knows everyone. So if probably you know X person, you might be able to help them with the X person. But people
True.
often forget to establish that connect with you first. For you to help them to reach that X person is an
Correct.
effort and it is going to take time.
Yes.
So if
And
I drop
sometimes,
a no,
yeah,
no,
yeah, go
please.
ahead. No, I was just saying that sometimes, you also have to show that what does the other person is also getting, not just think about only yourself. It has to be mutual, that you are showing them something which is a value addition for them as well,
Yes.
not just removing your whatever you want, and then so people can feel that, you're just coming to them because you want something, and then you're going to go away. So I think that is again very important, that one should think about and then accordingly frame, as you mentioned. The framing of the message is very important.
It is very important, Farida, and I often so we come across every kind of people, You request them for you seek help from somebody, they take it otherwise. They take it
True.
otherwise. So I don't want to bring it, but it is the truth also that we women also we walk on a very thin line.
Absolutely.
People often understand, oh, she's pretty, okay, she's dropping a text, oh, okay, she's seeking something, I probably can give her that, but at the same time I seek something else in return. So it's a very thin line which you walk on, and that is everywhere actually. It's just not about LinkedIn. That is everywhere.
True, true.
So, yes, that is another challenge. You need to be very cautious. Whom are you giving and sharing your details with? People
Absolutely.
often ask you for your phone number, for your email, for your coordinates. So, you have to be really mindful about it.
Absolutely. I totally agree about that. Um, so lastly, Neha, can technology, today replace the value of face-to-face interactions in relationship building? And if not, then how can we maintain this balance?
It's a very interesting question. I think you kept the best for the last.
That's so true. Because
Um,
COVID has taught us to be online, and introduced us to this entire digital world. But you know, there are the opinions are divided. So, what is your take on that?
okay, so personally, I think that nobody can beat the human interaction,
Okay,
no matter how digitally sound we can be.
true.
You need to have. I do not know how to put it in those many words, but when you shake hand when you shake hand with somebody, it's a real energy transfer. It is really you're understanding the vibe of a person when you see into their eyes, when they walk into the room. These things are important to establish that trust and a connection.
True.
Digitally, yes, I think post COVID we have realized the importance of digitization, but at the same time, the entire world is moving on online. They are striking billions of deals over Zoom or over Teams Meet, or all of it is there. But until you understand the person in person, it does make a lot of difference. Digital world can only support to
Correct.
certain extent, but human nature, human connect is very important.
Okay.
Until they see you in person walking in the room, they can establish that confidence looking at you in one go. Okay, she is worth it. We can talk more.
Okay.
Online, yes, we are talking online. It's great. But when you meet me in person, when I'll meet you in person, it's a different bond we are creating.
Correct. But what
So
about global connections? I mean, I have a client from US, or I have a client from a very different geography where potentially, a physical meet would not be possible. So,
yeah.
so do you think that hinders a little bit, or your experience?
See, you can keep talking to the people, person. You can do video calls, you can do the Zooms, you can do text messages, you can do all of it. Um, but when you're signing a major deal, I think a lot of the CEOs and CFOs they prefer flying down and meeting the person, seeing the setup, doing having that interaction. They just can't close the deals over Zoom or over LinkedIn or over Teams Meet. They cannot do that. They fly down, they fly down whom are they actually meeting? Who is on
Correct.
the other side? I don't understand. I mean, out of your experience, Farida. So this is what my experience says that people really make an effort to do and go an extra mile to visit them so that they can understand. What do you think? So, for example, you said you have a client in US. Can you? I don't understand. I mean, I'm just asking you. Can you sign a major deal with him without meeting him?
So, again, as I said, divided. Sometimes certain clients do want to meet in person before
Yeah,
they go ahead and sign a deal, or
yeah,
we can serve them. But then there are certain people who are completely okay with an online meet and connecting virtually. Sometimes there are also references, so that
Yeah,
again plays a
yeah.
key point, because you have certain
It,
people in
yes,
between whom they can trust, so it's
yeah,
okay if you're not
yeah.
meeting physically, so that is another important factor. But yes, it's both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I no, I agree with you. References also do play a major role that, you know somebody who is in between and who's actually helping you. So references work for me also, or for my setup also. That,
True.
if a word can be put across to someone, they would be more than happy to meet you and see you and give you
True.
appointments. So then it's up to you. The ball is in your court now. Then it's up to you how you roll it, but
Correct.
the initial bit references can definitely help. So it's a very interesting conversation. As you said, it's divided. At times online works, at times it doesn't work.
True.
Um, but I think people who are from, as I said, this generation, they are more of tech savvy. They don't want to waste time. Um, they want to do it as whatever soon possible. But people like me or you, or we would need human connection as well. We want to see what are we dealing with on this side. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Neha, any parting thoughts, anything that you want to give away as your last words for today's show? Any kind of advice that you would give to people who are starting out their journey and using these different social media platforms to form meaningful connections with global clientele?
I think the first thing I would want to say is that believe in yourself, okay? And there are people who have the access to digital, who have the access to digitization. There are people who are educated on digitization. Not everybody is LinkedIn pro, or not everybody is Insta pro, or I think it's very important to be yourself. Put yourself out there as honest as you can, because people appreciate your honesty. um, I think the more you meet people, the more you connect with people, use it in the righteous way, for the
Absolutely.
right purpose. Keep your being intact, and do not get lost in the world of the fact, basically. Just be yourself, show out there the way you are, because people appreciate that more than anything. And use
Absolutely.
digital bit as a support. Do not
Correct.
let it overrule the human touch or human connect. This
Yeah.
is I think what my experience is.
Yeah, completely agree. Don't portray yourself as this fake being who you
Yeah,
actually not are, because when they meet you in person and you show them a completely different
exactly.
side, that breaks
Yeah.
the trust completely. So I think
Yes,
what you really are as an individual, what you are doing, I think it's very important to come across as that itself.
that is true. That is true. I think that is my. I think this is what I've been following also, Farida. I have I the whatever connections I have on LinkedIn, or whatever people I meet, I always say that this is who I am and this is what it is, and then it's up to them also to also understand. At times, for business, for money, you need to move your personalities, you need to change yourself, you need to fit into that box just for the heck of it. But you won't be able to sustain it for long, because to fit in, you have to bend somewhere. And that
Absolutely.
bend will actually bend you from there. So
True.
it's very important to just be yourself.
Great thoughts.
Thank
Great thoughts on that. So,
you.
Neha, thank you so much for joining us today on the Professionals Pulse and giving these wonderful insights. Every experience and every key point that you shared, I think, was very, very important for someone, not only for people who are starting, but people from different industries, how they can reach out, how they can be relevant, and how they can build strong digital connections. So, thank you
And
so
I,
much for this.
before
Yeah,
we
please.
end, Farida, I also need to mention one very important thing. We spoke about people seeking connections. We
True.
didn't speak about people who are getting connections. I
Correct.
also want to mention that if you end up getting a lot of requests from people, if you're getting lot of lot of connection requests. People are seeking appointments from you. I think my only request for the rest of the world and the people who are watching this video is be compassionate to the people who are sending you requests also, because probably you are getting zillion of requests in your inbox. For them, it might be helpful for them to grow in their life, or it might just be compassionate, even though if it's not going to work it is okay, but at least inform them so that they don't keep waiting.
True. True. I
The
think that's
basic
important.
courtesy as humans, what we share is to exchange the communication, even though a good connection is not established, but at least we can have a dialogue instead of monologue. This is
True.
how I see it. So
Absolutely
yeah,
agree.
that was a very
And that
important
was a
thought which I
very,
wanted to.
yes, very valid point, and very important point. I think that's really important.
Thank you, Farida,
Thank you once again, Neha,
for
for
having me
being
here.
here with us and sharing these amazing thoughts. As we wrap up this episode about relationship building in the digital era, it's clear that while technology has revolutionized the way we connect, the fundamentals of trust, authenticity, and empathy remain key to building meaningful relationships. Whether it's through social media, virtual meetings, or digital communities, the tools we use may change, but the human element, as Neha said, remains constant. Remember, it's not just about increasing your network, it's about nurturing it with genuine connections that stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on this episode of The Professional's Pulse. Stay tuned for more insightful discussions in the upcoming weeks. And of course, until then, keep building connections that matter. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you,
Thank you.
Farida.
Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.